Most people live here not in one income bracket, not in one neighborhood, in one of 7 financial survival levels. And the difference between them is not just how much money you make, it's how much damage a normal life event can do. A late fee, a flat tire, a dental bill, a quiet month at work. This video breaks down the 7 levels so you can see exactly where the pressure comes from, why some people feel broke on decent incomes, and what actually changes when you move up one level. This framework is built around common household cash flow stress points, emergency savings research, and the basic math of fragility. The goal here is not to shame anybody. It's to make invisible pressure visible, because once you can name the level, you can build your way out of it. Number 1, debt spiral. Debt spiral is the survival level where your money problem is no longer low income by itself. It is low margin, plus compounding damage. Your paycheck lands, but part of it is already spoken for by old mistakes, emergencies, or just the cost of surviving without cash. Credit cards cover basics. One late fee creates another. Minimum payments keep you technically afloat while quietly making the whole system worse. At this level, the real issue is not spending discipline in the moral sense. It is negative momentum. Every month begins behind. That means your next decision is shaped by urgency, not strategy. You are not comparing good options. You are choosing the least painful bad option. That changes behavior fast. People in a debt spiral delay maintenance, ignore health issues, avoid opening statements, and treat every incoming call like a threat. The math becomes emotional, and emotional math is expensive. When interest rates are high, debt compounds faster than savings ever could. But here's the key reframe. Debt spiral is not an identity. It is a mechanical condition. The exit is also mechanical. Stop adding new high-interest balances. Lower the fixed burn rate if possible. Create one protected cash buffer, even if it's tiny. Then attack the ugliest interest first or use a snowball if behavior is the bigger battle. Before wealth building comes stability. At this level, stopping the bleed is the win. Number 2, zero cushion. Zero cushion looks calmer from the outside, but it is still survival. Bills may be paid on time, debt may be lower, income may even look respectable. The problem is simple, there is no slack. If every dollar already has a job, then life has no shock absorber. The account can hit zero without anyone doing anything reckless. This level creates a strange kind of financial invisibility. On paper, you are functioning. In reality, you are balancing on a wire. A single timing issue can wreck the month. Your paycheck hits one day later than expected. Your auto pay clears one day earlier. Suddenly, you are paying overdraft fees, moving money around, or borrowing from next week to survive this week. That is why zero cushion is exhausting. It turns calendar management into risk management. It also kills long-term thinking because your attention is rented out by short-term logistics. The move out of this level is not glamorous. It is margin creation. Fewer recurring obligations, more reliable income, one bill removed, one side stream added, one expense negotiated down, one paycheck no longer fully consumed. That may sound small, but the first bit of slack changes everything. Before investing gets exciting, breathing room has to exist. The $100 limit is the stage where you technically have some flexibility, but only in tiny amounts. You can absorb a small problem, barely. A prescription, a school fee, an unexpected tank of gas, maybe a modest copay. But once the number moves past $100, the stress response comes back immediately. This level matters because it reveals how narrow your true operating room is. A lot of people think of financial security as a big, dramatic threshold, like 6 figures of savings. In real life, it often starts with something much more basic. Can you solve a small problem without breaking something else? If the answer is no, then the system is still fragile, and fragility has a cost even when nothing bad happens. It changes how you shop, drive, plan, and decide. You pass on opportunities because you cannot afford a temporary dip. You avoid helpful appointments because the bill might surprise you. You buy the cheaper item that breaks faster because you cannot afford the durable one. This is where a lot of households get trapped in false stability. The lights stay on, so it feels like progress, but the first real inconvenience still has veto power over the whole month. The path upward here is to build a first true micro buffer, not a fantasy emergency fund. A real one, enough cash that a $100 problem stays a $100 problem. The $400 shock is famous for a reason. For years, survey data has shown that many Americans would struggle to cover an unexpected $400 expense with cash. That number matters because it sits right in the middle of normal life. Not a catastrophe, not a total job loss, just a real-world hit, an urgent repair, a vet visit, a medical deductible, a travel emergency. If $400 can knock you off balance, then your finances are still one ordinary event away from borrowing. And borrowing is rarely neutral. It usually means interest, repayment pressure, and a weaker next month. That is why the $400 threshold is so useful. It is not measuring wealth. It is measuring whether normal life still has the power to push you backward. This is also the level where denial becomes dangerous. Because if you can handle groceries, rent, and most routine bills, you can start telling yourself you're basically fine. But basically fine is not a financial category. Crossing this level often comes from a combination, not a miracle. A modest cash reserve, fewer high-interest balances, slightly better monthly surplus, better insurance choices, more deliberate sinking funds for recurring surprises like car maintenance or back-to-school costs. When a $400 hit stops feeling like an emergency and starts feeling like an inconvenience, you are no longer just surviving the month. You are starting to control it. The $1,000 gap is where financial life starts splitting into two different worlds. Below this line, a $1,000 miss still feels serious enough to trigger damage control. Above it, $1,000 is annoying but manageable. That difference sounds small until you see what $1,000 actually represents in ordinary adult life. A deductible, a plane ticket for a family emergency, a minor appliance replacement, a week of lost work. This is the first level where resilience becomes visible. Not comfort, not abundance, resilience. You can take a punch without immediately borrowing, panicking, or cascading into other problems. That changes your psychology in a big way. You stop treating every surprise as proof that your plan failed. You start treating surprises as part of the plan. That shift matters because once your mind stops living in emergency mode, better decisions become possible. You can compare options instead of grabbing the fastest relief. You can keep your investments invested. You can handle a repair without putting your groceries on a credit card next week. In other words, the system starts protecting itself. Most people do not reach this level through one giant breakthrough. They get there by making the first $1,000 sacred. Not vacation money, not holiday money, protected cash. This is where financial survival begins turning into stability because the next problem no longer gets to rewrite your entire month. Number 6, throw pillow. Throw pillow is the level where a household finally has soft landing space, not a luxury mattress, a pillow, enough savings and enough monthly margin that small and medium hits do not immediately force a sacrifice elsewhere. You have something to land on now, but you are not floating. You are still close enough to the floor that a larger disruption can hurt. This is where many people make a subtle mistake. They mistake early comfort for full security. The account balance looks better. Credit card use drops. A few categories stop feeling stressful. So lifestyle inflation sneaks in. Nicer car. Bigger rent, more subscriptions, more fixed commitments. And before long, the cushion exists, but the runway never gets built. That is why throw pillow is an important level to respect. It is the first stage where you can finally start doing money on purpose instead of by reflex. But it is also the stage where progress can stall if every improvement gets consumed. The smart move here is to turn temporary relief into permanent structure. Automate savings, build sinking funds, increase retirement contributions. At this level, you are proving that financial peace is not just about earning more. It is about preserving margin after you earn more. A pillow is good. It means life no longer feels sharp all the time. But the real goal is bigger than comfort. The real goal is time. Number 7, Real Runway. Real Runway is the level most people are actually talking about when they say they want to feel secure. It does not mean rich. It means you have enough cash reserves, enough monthly surplus, and enough system design that bad news does not instantly become a crisis. You can go months, not days, before pressure becomes panic. This is the first level where optionality shows up. You can leave a bad job without immediate financial freefall. You can wait for the right offer instead of grabbing the first one. You can cover a larger repair, a move, a medical gap, or a temporary income drop without torching your future. You have space to think. And space to think is one of the most valuable financial assets there is. Real Runway also changes how wealth gets built. Investing becomes easier because you are no longer investing with one hand while putting out fires with the other. Career decisions improve because desperation is no longer in the room. This is the payoff, hidden inside all 7 levels. The goal is not just a higher number in an account. The goal is lower fragility, more room, more choice, more time between impact and panic. That is what financial progress really feels like. Not flashy, not cinematic, just solid. Callback payoff. So if the hook was, most people live here, here's the payoff. The level matters less than whether you can name it honestly. Because once you know whether you're in debt spiral, zero cushion, or sitting just below Real Runway, the next move becomes obvious. Financial survival is not random, it has stages, and stages can be climbed. CTA, if you want more frameworks like this, subscribe to Outgrow Your Salary and watch the next breakdown on how to build your first real cash runway without waiting for a perfect income.